This is the Bemerton. We've seen a few changes here over the years, and I was around for most of them. My name's Beryl, and this is my estate. This is my home. Listen, I'll tell you our story. It was 2020. That was a hot year, yeah. It was a lot hotter than what me and my friend Paulette were used to, although we thought we'd seen it all before. You know, there were warnings all over the news, and people from around the council came and visited us. But we carried on as normal. The estate carried on as normal. See, we'd had power cuts before, but this was different. We had no way to keep cool. Our flats were boiling, I remember it. We couldn't open our windows because things weren't safe out there. Well, you can never be too careful. I went to check on my friend Paulette, and she was in a bad way, I can tell you. The heat had got to her. She needed help quick. So I called an ambulance, but they said they were overloaded with calls. I didn't know what to do. I had to do something. So I thought of Liam. Liam was the only person I could think of who could help. I trusted him. And if anyone could help, well, it was Liam. We needed to find her somewhere cooler than her flat. Other people on the estate were also suffering from the heat. We didn't have many choices left, or of where we could all take shelter, you see. The flats with aircon around the estate were full, and tensions were getting really bad. People had already taken over the community centre too. And then Liam mentioned the garages, which he said would be cooler because they were underground. We hadn't been down there in years. Time was running out, and it seemed like our best option. So we had to do something. So we went underground to the garages. It was cooler and it was safe. We could be together and help Paulette. Straight away Liam came up with this great idea that we could use an old bike that he'd found down there to start making our own power. He really knew what he was doing, and we just rallied behind him. By the second day, we started to make the space ours. The bike started to work, and we took it in turns to make enough power to get by. It was nothing compared to what we got now, but back then it supplied us with everything we needed. Liam had started a blog about what we were doing. It seemed to get people from the New King's Cross area, up there, to come down and to take shelter from their heat. You see, it wasn't just us that were struggling with the heat, but it seemed like we were the only ones who could do something about it. I really got to understand how close we were as a community when this happened. By day 5, it caught the attention of the press. It was good fun at first. Someone from The Guardian caught wind of what we were doing and came to take our picture. I remember that. They all seemed amazed by what we'd done to cope with the heat. But to us, it just seemed normal. This was the last resort. It was only meant to keep people out of our homes and gardens. So we lasted 3 more days, but all good things must come to an end. The power, it was finally back up, and then the council turned up. They said if we had to move down to these redundant spaces, as they said, then our homes, they must be unfit to live in. So they said they were in conversation with some developer about building new homes for us. See, they didn't understand that the garages meant more to us by now. They'd saved our estate, and we'd come to become devoted to them and to making sure that they would be maintained in case of when we needed to use them again. But now it looked like we were going to lose them. Anyway, we were offered new shiny houses that were apparently better than ours. But you see, they weren't better because they weren't ours. In the end, we all have to survive, and many of my friends, they took on those new homes. Paulette, she was moved into sheltered housing, and from then on we didn't see much of her. The estate, it is changing. It is getting smaller, and the summers, they aren't getting any cooler. Those of us who stayed behind have looked after these garages so that we can keep using them from when it gets really hot and the power is off, just like now.